Yo.
Yo, what's good?
Uh, Long day.
Yeah. Long day. I get it. I just got home from work, so I totally get it. We got a lot of stuff and not a lot of time. Once again, sorry everybody for having to delay the stream longer than we anticipated. Um, we had some family stuff that we were dealing with, and I was just trying to put it off as long as I could, so I made sure we could still be in here. But we are on a time restraint, so we only have an hour to talk tonight. But tonight we're gonna do what we do every Saturday, and we are gonna roll the dice and try to make some accurate picks. If I do anything better than last week, then I'm happy. You did fine, I think. So either way, you're fine. But as long as I do better than I do last week, which I started this week 0-1, so I'm not even mad about starting 0-1. I'm just more disappointed than anything that the Saints didn't win that game. But we're not going to dwell too much on that because we do have a recap stream later this week to get into that. So we're going to just jump right into it, if that's okay with you.
I'm perfectly good with that.
All right, first game we got on the Sunday slate is an AFC North divisional matchup. Cleveland Browns head to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Cleveland 2-4, Baltimore 3-3. The point spread 6.5. I feel like that's disrespectful to the Cleveland. Look, their record's 2-4, but they've played extremely well, and they've had they've lost 4 games. They've had a total of 4 mistakes. Like, it's been a 1 mistake. Like, that's how close a lot of these matchups have been. But to keep it sweet, I'm going to take the Baltimore at home. They broke their losing streak at home. What's up, Holly? Nice to see you. Nathan, Mickey, everyone in the house. Thanks for coming in here with us. But I'm going to take Baltimore at home to continue their win streak at home. But I do think that Cleveland is capable of covering this spread of 6.5.
I'm completely with you there on that. I just feel like it feels like one of them games that Cleveland can just win, and we're going to be like, oh, Cleveland won that game. I really feel like
I'm not going to be surprised if Cleveland wins this game. Like, not at all.
No, me either. But to hold with what I believe and what I picked, I've got to stay with Baltimore. I feel like this is their opportunity to stand out a little bit in the division, and I think they'll beat Cleveland.
I kind of think like they're starting to get back on track. Like, they're not having pretty wins, and their losses are usually chokes. Like at the last minute. Look, they need a rebound from New York, but I really feel comfortable with taking the Ravens in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, they could very easily be 5-1 right now.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think so could Cleveland in a weird way that I didn't think was going to work. But I think right now I'm going to go based off the home team, and I think as a whole, Baltimore has a better roster. They're going to be without J.K. Dobbins, but they did activate Gus Edwards, so he will be making his season debut. And I think him and J.K. are about the same level of the same amount of talent they need in the run game to keep it from being a Lamar Jackson is the only guy running the ball. So they've got playmakers, and I think they're going to continue to make plays. And I feel like Harbaugh's got to know that the eyes are on him now because he's made some really poor coaching decisions lately. And I hate to say that because he's an excellent coach, but it's more than just a based off statistics thing. He is making bad decisions. And but I think this is like a turnaround week for them. For all the Browns fans out there, I'm sorry because I still think you're more than capable of winning this because of the defense and because of the coaching decisions Harbaugh has been making. You've got a very fair chance in this, and don't lose faith in Jacoby Brissett because one mistake does not define him. This is probably the best version of him we've ever seen. In all honesty, he's had bad moments, but as a whole, he's been more than admirable filling in for, he's got a lot of shoes to fill in, I guess I should say. But moving on to our next one, another divisional matchup, but down in the South, which we all know is just a big dumpster fire. But we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading into the 1-5 Carolina Panthers. And listen, I'm going to say Tampa wins because they have to. Not because they are the better team, not because they should win, but they win because they have to. This is a 13-point spread, and listen, my number one rule is if the point spread's over 10, I always take the person that's favored to lose. And after watching what happened last week with Pittsburgh, the greatest game of the season, Carolina, for no reason, could come out and win this game. Now, are they going to get blown out? Probably not, because Tampa has been inconsistent. But I'm going to take Tampa because it's the right thing to do, but I do not feel good about it.
There's a lot of stuff going on in Tampa right now. However, I would take Tampa to win the game as far as picking goes, but if I was betting on the game, I would take Carolina in the points.
To be honest, I might put some money on Carolina because I wanted to with Pittsburgh, but I was like, no, that's a waste of money. And look where that got me.
Because and everybody's got to remember it's a divisional game, which makes it a touchdown closer than what it probably should be.
Exactly. I do think Carolina will cover. Even if they're selling their entire team right now, I think, they're going to cover. Has won the last 4 meetings between Carolina, so that means they're due for a loss. Yeah, that's all I hear when you say that. Next one we got is not our first non-divisional game this Sunday. And this one's close to your heart. Atlanta Falcons coming into Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Both teams are 3-3, and Cincinnati's favored by 6.5.
If they were playing on the road, the way Atlanta played last week, I might pick against my Bengals. But seeing as that they're at home, I don't like the spread being that broad. I think it should be about a 3-point spread. I don't think that they're that far apart in competitive nature right now, but I still will take the Bengals at home this Sunday, and I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
I don't think no matter who wins this game would be a blowout. I think this is the way that Atlanta is playing. They're playing at the same level that Cincinnati is playing.
Yes, I feel the same.
I'm not saying they're a better or equal team because roster-wise they are not, especially with no Cordell Patterson. Cincinnati is by far the better team.
But I
did some thinking on this. And listen, I'm going to base this off something really stupid of why I'm going to tell you that the Falcons are going to win this game. And this might be just a shot in the dark. But look, I want the Bengals to win this matchup just so they can prove that they were not a one-hit wonder. I want that to stay. I want them to stay a strong team, I don't want them to just falter. But listen, at the place of where we work, you and I, they're throwing a tailgate party for this game at where we work. And so they looked at the schedule this year and planned this ahead of time. And they looked through every single game and they were like, okay, the only game we're confident enough to throw a party for is versus the Falcons. So that makes this a trap game in my mind. So listen, I want to listen to history. I know Cincinnati is the better team. But listen, even if Belterra is writing this game off, then I'm not going to. I'm going to take – this is one of the bolder statements of my week, but I'm going to take the Falcons for the upset here. And it's a huge upset because they're giving them a touchdown spread. The Falcons look really good last week. They built themselves a lead. They held the other team off, and then they kept scoring. They won by 2 touchdowns. I can't argue with that. Cincinnati, all their games have been close. I think whoever scores first wins, but I'm going to take the Falcons for the upset just for the picks. I think Cincinnati should win this.
I love it. And that minus and taking Atlanta and the points would probably be a pretty good bet in my mind tomorrow as well.
100%, unless they just completely falter and turn to the team that we thought they were going to be. This is going to be probably one of the best games of the week, in my opinion.
Maybe.
But I'm going to take the Falcons. I'm comfortable with it because, how well they've been playing, despite that their roster is not superb. And this coach, he's doing a phenomenal job. He got completely crapped on last season, and he's taken Marcus Mariota and doing what he couldn't do with Matt Ryan.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, if under different circumstances, I would pick Atlanta today.
Yeah, I see myself comfortable either direction I go. We'll see if either team's previous performance was a fluke. That is a very good point, Crafty, because both of them put out really good performances, both of them on the road, which is more impressive. That in New Orleans and in San Francisco played an incredible game. But moving on to the next one, this one I feel like should be considered a trap game, and I'm going to say that it is not. As much as I want it to be, we've got the Lions going to Dallas to play against the Cowboys, and Dak Prescott will play in this game. The Lions are coming off a bye. Everything in my body wants to be like, the Lions are going to bounce back and win this game. Now, listen, before you make up your mind, DeAndre Swift has not played the last 2 or 3 games. They sat him out because they wanted to sit him out through the bye to bring him back completely healthy. Amon-Ra St. Brown will play, and that when all these guys were playing, that's when they were the number 1 scoring team. Do I think they can win this game? Yes, I do, because I love this team. But as much as I love this team, I have to say that they have 0% chance to win this game. It's hard to play in Dallas. The crowd's going to be hyped up because Dak's back. I feel like Dak could be the reason they lose this game. But in my mind, they can't win. I can't pick them as much as I want to. But I just think the Cowboys are just going to slaughter this Lions team as much as I don't want to see it.
I'm with you 100%. I think Dak will play a more conservative game because I think he feels a little threatened in his position right now. I think if Cooper Rush did
100%.
Put a little bit of pressure on there. So I think Dak will play a more reserved game. They will lean on the running game, the short passes to the running backs. And I think that with Detroit's defense not being actually stellar and letting teams score a ton of points, I think the Dallas will be okay in this game. Their defense will do what New England's defense did to Detroit and hold them back a little bit. Jared Goff is still Jared Goff. Taking the Cowboys.
I'm taking the Cowboys, and I cannot argue. I want to argue for the Lions. That's what I'm good at. I could defend someone who I don't believe in. I'm good at that. I don't know what the Dallas or the Lions record is after the bye. I'm assuming most of them are losses because they've never really had that many good years. But it's like playing against a new offense versus a team off the bye that is struggling but somehow looking good while they play even their struggles. So this game might be very interesting. I think they can win it. I'm not going to pick them because I don't want to get burnt when the Cowboys win 38-3. Okay, I don't want to feel stupid. So just in that chance, I'm going to take the Cowboys. But I hope the Lions give them a run for their money in this game. Next game, I feel, look, the records tell me that this is not a good game, and a lot of people look at it the same way, but I feel like this is going to be better than we can imagine. The 5-1 New York Giants are going to play the 2-4 Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. I'm going to let you go first because I haven't completely made up my mind yet. But I think this is going to be a good game.
So on CBS, when I went through and my first instincts and I picked these games, I went right through and I picked I picked New York right off the top of my head. And now that I sit back and thought about this for a few days, here's what I'm going to say when it comes to this matchup. I think this matchup favors Jacksonville. I don't know exactly why because they've been kind of mediocre on offense, but I think Doug Peterson knows the NFC East better than anybody and how to beat them, whether it doesn't matter which coaching staff is in there. And I'm going to go ahead and flip my script from my CBS picks. I'm going to take the Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence finally has a decent game again, and they win the ball game.
I didn't expect him to just leave. Okay, so my thoughts on the Giants and Jaguars game. He had to take a phone call. These stats are actually very similar. Jaguars obviously have struggled, and Nathan says right there, the Giants have never won in Jacksonville. That automatically favors Jacksonville. The point spread is only 3, and Jacksonville is favored by 3 in this game. Look, the sports bettors know what they're doing. Even if they don't get the spread right, they usually get the favored team pretty close to right most of the time. The Jags are still averaging more points a game. They're averaging 30 less rushing yards a game than the Giants, and they're averaging 60 more passing yards per game. Overall, like, other than the run game, they match up really well. Jacksonville is very favored. And listen, it's getting that time of year when it's starting to get cold on the East Coast where these teams play. Cold teams going down to warm teams. I like the warm team in that situation. Just if Jacksonville was going to a cold team, I would be like, okay, they're not used to playing in the cold. I took the Jags in CPS, and I think I'm going to continue and keep that pick of taking Jacksonville. Listen, Doug Peterson has proven to us that he can win games with this team. He's proven to us that he can coach this team well. Yes, they went from the most explosive team in the AFC to losing 3 in a row. But, look at some of those losses. One of them against Philly, and they gave Philly a good run for most of that game. The game after that was the Texans, which the Texans are one of those teams, and it is divisional. It was a weird game. And then they played against the Colts. They almost won that game. Matt Ryan had a game-winning drive to seal the deal. Like, that's what happened. They had that game, but Matt Ryan was able to move the ball down the field. So they've all been close. All of their losses have been one-score games or one-score situations. I think they score more points than the Giants do on average. So, more points equals more chance to win. So I'm taking Jacksonville to get the dub here at home and get back on track as well.
It's really strange. I think that, when you got a team that's 2-4 going against a 5-1 team that everybody thinks is on top of the world, and then the sports world bets that the 2-4 team is going to win the game. There's something that maybe that we don't see, from our perspective, but there's something that Las Vegas sees, and that's enough for me right now.
So you're going to take the Jags?
I took the Jags.
All right, the next one, we got the dumpster fire division of the year matchup. The Colts go into Tennessee. Does Tennessee get the sweep?
Wow.
They beat them in their own home. Now they're coming to Tennessee.
Here's the most interesting fact about this game for the whole week. It's the only game this week where both teams have an actual winning record.
That's interesting.
I know, right? And I at this point I figured Indianapolis would be 2-5 the way they were playing. Yada yada yada.
I mean, they're pretty close to it.
Yeah, they really could. I don't think the win last week proves anything for Indianapolis. I think they won at home because they had to.
They've been absolutely terrible on the road, other than that Denver game. But are we going to say they look good in that Denver game?
And they looked horrible in that Denver game.
Everything was horrible in that Denver game.
Going to Tennessee and winning is a really a huge task in my mind because A, Tennessee can run the ball. B, they're a decent.
They are getting Jonathan Taylor back, but Jonathan Taylor was not having a good year coming back. But the offensive line is protecting Matt Ryan a little bit better, so maybe they'll be able to get him going.
I can't see any reason to pick anybody other than Tennessee in this game. I don't even care what the spread is.
Listen, if this was an Indy, I would say after last week's performance, maybe. But in Tennessee's own home, Vrabel's an excellent coach. I don't care what anybody has to say. I think Tennessee still has the Colts number, and they're going to sweep them for another year. I don't particularly like either of these teams. Like, I liked the Colts, but then they looked fraudulent from where I put them. And I'm not even going to blame that all on Matt Ryan. Like, the whole team looked fraudulent from where I had put them. And Tennessee, they're coming off a bye, so they're freshly rested and ready to go. Were in a shootout with Jacksonville last week, so that, that makes a big difference. They're still not going to get Shaq Leonard for this game. So that's a big hole on their defense. And Vrabel knows how to play against this Colts team. He's succeeded the last couple years at a very high level. And I don't think anything's going to be different. Matt Ryan's thrown 7 interceptions. By the end of this game, he'll be up to at least 9. He might hit double digits because, listen, this Tennessee defense knows how to intercept the Colts. And listen, they had Carson Wentz last year. Okay, we're going to blame Carson Wentz, but Carson Wentz looks like he had a better chance to get them to the playoffs than Matt Ryan does right now. But to answer your question, Nathan, yes, for like 2 snaps against Tennessee, which they broke his nose and gave him a concussion, and that he went right back out. He got activated for the first Tennessee game, which was only like 2 weeks ago. The Colts have all of their divisional games. This is the last one until week 17. They have one, but this is their last one. This is number 5, and then they don't have their last one until week 17. They did their schedule so bad. But yeah, I'm gonna take Tennessee at home. There is a 2.5 point spread. I don't even think it's worth being that close. I don't like the Colts and I don't like the Titans, and I really don't like the Titans more than I don't like the Colts. But I feel like Matt Ryan is just trying to put this team on his back, and it's not working. But they've got a young stud in Alec Pierce and Jelani Woods, so maybe they can create something. But I'm going to say, Tennessee by 5 or 6, probably.
Yeah, I'm not picking the points in this one. I just think Tennessee should win this game easily.
Next one, interesting NFC matchup. Green Bay is going to Washington to take on the Commanders with Taylor Heineke at the helm because Carson Wentz is out for a minimum of 4 weeks. I dislike the Titans more than the Colts. Yeah, I've always been that way. I mean, I grew up a Manning fan, so I can't just hate the Colts, but I don't really particularly care all that much for them. But anyway, Green Bay going into Washington. Green Bay is favored by 4.5, and I feel like that's a reasonable point spread because that is probably as much as I will give them, even if I knew they would win this game.
I'm looking at this game, and the first thing that jumps out at me is Taylor Heineke had to take a backseat to Carson Wentz. He's had to sit there and watch him lose games, play mediocre at best. The coach blamed him for the last loss when he probably shouldn't have opened his mouth. There was a lot of things on that team that went wrong, but he blamed it on Carson Wentz. I think it's really interesting, but I think Heineke gives the Redskins a boost this week. The Green Bay Packers, is Aaron Rodgers finally over his temper tantrum and going to start playing hard ball again? Because I think he's laying down.
I heard yesterday, and I don't know if it was like a YouTuber like Grossi. I know it was not Grossi, but like if it was just some guy who talks about the Packers, or if it came from the Packers, or if it was a reputable source. I read it in passing that the Packers decided it was time for LaFleur to, kind of hand the keys over to Aaron. And so that's kind of what we were talking about, whether that was a news thing or something a fan said. If that's true, I'm going to take Washington. I'm going to take Green Bay by a mile because I feel like, I've been saying all along, I feel like Rodgers was sick of playing LaFleur's game and said, you won't let me do anything, then okay, I'll just roll over and die and you're going to go down with me. And if that's true, he's going to hand over, let him make some decisions. I think things look right real fast. I told you when this happens, there's going to be a flip of the switch and they're going to look like the best team in the NFC. Now, listen, Heineke's my boy. I always root for Washington. I decided I'm not using coin flips anymore because I need to man up and stop being a little wuss and make my own decisions. You can flip your coin, but I decided I'm done with it because they've always hurt me, and I go against what I believe in by letting someone else choose my battles for me. But
Okay.
I'm going to take Green Bay because of what I read, whether it was a reputable source or not. But listen, it's going to be an ugly game. This might be the worst game of the week. Other than maybe the Lions game, but I love Heineke. He's going to ball out. I think Washington easily can get the dub at home. This is my last chance for Green Bay. And like he said right here, is this a get-right game for Green Bay, or is this a final nail in their coffin? I think this is it. This is where they have to put up or shut up. This is do it or you're done. And so I think they know that their backs against the walls. I think Washington knows that they're not going to do anything in this division. Because of how well the rest of the division is playing. So I'm going to take Green Bay timidly on the road to get a win here.
I want to flip the damn coin, but
flip the coin. Last time I flipped the coin on a Green Bay game, I went against what I believed in, I lost.
How does the coin flip work again?
Yeah, flip it, and the heads are the home team, and the tails are the away team. So heads is Taylor Heineke, tails is Aaron Rodgers.
I'm taking Aaron Rodgers.
Is that a head or a tail?
It's the tail.
Oh, is that the colored coin?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Taking Aaron Rodgers.
But I'm going to make this statement right now. If Green Bay loses this game, I don't care if it's the easiest game for the win in the world. From week 8 to week 18 or 17, whatever, I will pick whoever they're playing against every single week. And I will not feel bad about it. I won't put a single thought into it. I will just automatically mark them down. Except for maybe week 17, like the very last week, I'll pick Green Bay.
I think you're right, though. I think the switch will be flipped at some point. I'm not really sure what's going on. They just don't look right, and they look like they don't even look like they're playing. So I'm gonna go. Yep,
this is my last chance for them to get it right. Next game we have is my favorite game of the week. The New York Jets go into Denver to take on the Broncos. The Jets 4-2, Broncos 2-4. Russell Wilson will not play in this game. It's going to be the Ripien kid.
Brett Rippin.
Rippin, yes. It's going to be him. He only has one other career start, and it's against the Jets, and he got a win. So I love everything about this, but I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it simple. Zach Wilson is going to show Broncos country how to ride, and the Jets are going to get it done on the road.
Wow.
Listen, I'm sick of this Denver team too.
How good of a story would it be if a no-name backup comes in and wins a home game and actually scores points for the Broncos?
Dude, or if he does anything better than I
have already picked the Jets in my mind in this game. I think their upside is really going right now. Everything is kind of clicking. Denver doesn't have an identity yet. They're really struggling.
The Jets are almost averaging 10 whole more points a game than the Broncos.
I'm not even gonna give it any thought. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick the Jets. But for some reason, I feel like Denver's gonna hang in there.
Also, this Jets defensive line is fantastic. Like, I don't know how much you really watch the Jets, but that D line is legit. And they're only gonna get better. But the Jets haven't won in Denver since 2010. Give me Zach Wilson. Listen, I know Denver's defense is good, but that doesn't scare me anymore. Like, the Jets still can put up 20 points in this game, and Denver can't. Like, that's just a thing. Denver cannot score 20 points, so they cannot win this game. If they play against any team that averages over 20 points a game, I'm going to automatically put them down for a loss because they cannot score 20 points. So I'm taking the Jets. I'm confident in it, and no one can change my mind.
I'm going with you.
And when the Jets, I'm not going to say if, but when the Jets beat the Broncos, I'm ordering my Zach Wilson jersey.
Sweet.
So if they lose, then I guess I got to wait another couple of years. But Yes, Nathan is our official it's in the blood historian. So he does his homework so he can give us the facts while we're in here talking about some stuff. Are you taking the Jets?
Yes, ma'am.
I got to write down you use your coin flip on the Green Bay. I might come
Yeah.
back to the coin flip, but it screwed me over a couple times, so I might take a break from it.
I won my Thursday game this week. I'm riding cloud 9. I hadn't won one in a while, so.
All right, next one. Trap game in my opinion, but I already know where I'm going with this. Houston visits Vegas.
Yeah, I thought about this game quite a bit.
Listen, I don't know, and look, I think Vegas is way better than their record, but when you look at just the records, this can't be a trap game. It's 1-3-1 versus 1-4. But well, I'm not going to say that the Raiders suck. I don't like them personally, but I do not think they suck as a team. And I feel like McDaniels is figuring things out enough to keep his job. I'm gonna say that the Raiders win by 24. I don't care what the score is, but they win by 24.
Yeah, I think the Raiders get the dub in this game. I think Houston is going to play admirable. I think it's going to be reasonably close. But I think the Raiders are the better team. I think they've got the superior cast of characters out there, and I think Devontae Adams, if he's playing, I don't know if he's playing. I don't know if they punished him or not, but
I have
think
not heard anything.
I think that they're going to be just fine. The Raiders are probably starting to feel pressure for this season, and this is a game that they've probably circled now as a must-have. They can't afford to lose it. I'll take the Raiders at home.
Yeah, I mean, if they were in Houston, I would be very timid about this. And like I said, going into this, like that, I thought it could be a trap game. It still can be because the NFL has been unpredictable this year. Also, how many of those games, Nathan, did they have Deshaun Watson when Deshaun Watson was playing out of his mind? So I feel like you got to kind of take that in consideration. The Texans obviously have not been around long enough to have like that many stats as like other teams in terms of history and meetings. Same with the Jaguars. But Deshaun Watson played out of his mind in Houston, win or lose. But this is the first meeting in Vegas. Yeah, okay. So I really think that this is going to be a blowout win, and the Texans, they're looking good for looking bad.
Oh yeah,
Like Damian Pierce, good. Brandon Cooks, good. That other little, I don't know the wide receiver's name. He's a younger guy. He looks pretty good. Davis Mills looks good for what he's expected to look because he has hardly any football experience compared to everybody else on the field. But yeah, Raiders by at least double digits.
Are you talking about Nico Collins, the other wide receiver?
Yes. Well, there's two wide receivers: Nico Collins, Brandon Cooks, and one other one.
Oh, that's the two I know. I'm not sure who the other one is. Oh, Matt Collins, I bet.
No, he's a Raider.
He's a Raider guy.
Yeah, I can't remember his name right now. But the Texans, okay, Nathan says the Texans play the Raiders very hard, but give me a double-digit win for the Raiders. Like I might even put a bet in that the alternate point spread like 14 or something crazy.
I'm with you.
I believe that 100%. Next game, this is very similar to the Bengals and Falcons. It's saying that it might be the best game of the week. Also, Waller is out, and I only know that because I have him on fantasy, so I get his updates. But this ties for me one of the 3 best games of the week, and Seattle goes to LA to take on the Chargers.
Man, you know what? I didn't even think about this game.
I thought about it enough to know that I think it's going to be a good game.
I think it is too. I think both of these offenses are playing very similar right now. Both defenses are kind of suspect, even though they got good players on both sides of the ball. Man, and I still think LA as a home field for anybody sucks.
I think this is one of the most evenly matched games of the week, even though, and I'm saying evenly matched because, the Chargers are still down some guys. They should get Keenan Allen back, so that will give them a little bit more offensive firepower.
That's
But
their kicker's out too.
Yeah, their kicker is out. And listen, kickers win and lose you games. Listen, he won them that game this week, and I think he's going to lose them their game this week. And so I'm taking Seattle on the road because Seattle's been playing fantastic. Their defense, not so great, especially losing Jamal Adams like the first game of the year. But Kenneth Walker, emerging star. You got DK and Tyler Lockett. Listen, with or without Russ, they're still cooking. And Geno Smith playing very admirable. He has 1,500 yards, 9 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. And Herbert right there with him, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but 1,700 yards. This game is going to be fantastic. But I feel like the Chargers, this is a must-win game for them to keep them right there neck and neck with the Chiefs. But I feel like Seattle might sneak this one out, so I'm going to take them for the upset. They're giving the Chargers 5-point spread on this game, which is weird because I feel like we never see a 5-point even. But I'm going to take Seattle. This will be the first time the Chargers host Seattle in LA. I'm going to take Seattle. Partially wishful thinking to keep my division safe, but also I think this is going to be a great game.
I agree that it's going to be a great game.
This is going to be a Madden game, like no defense, all offense. Like really, I do.
I think it's going to be a great game as well. I'm still favoring the Chargers in this one a little bit. I think Geno Smith comes back to reality a little bit in this game because he's been outplaying his own ability, I think, to some degree. And I'm going to take the Chargers at home.
Where did the Geno Smith slander come from?
You know what? I've been waiting for the wheels
Geno
to fall.
Smith has earned his spot in the MVP conversation.
Yep.
And he's been, other than like one game, he's been playing there.
I'm not arguing. I just think he starts coming back to reality a little bit.
I'm gonna respectfully not disrespect your opinion. Look.
No, I expect you to.
Listen, if Geno Smith was gonna fall flat on the earth, like we'd already seen Drew Lock. But listen, this is his actual chance. Like last year when he played, he didn't play all that great, but he didn't play bad either. But that's because he knew Russell Wilson is coming back and giving him the boot at any minute. His only competition right now is Drew Lock. Do you think he's worried about nothing? No, he's just having the time of his life.
Fair.
He has no pressure now, so he's just going to go out, be himself, play good football, and he's got a great head coach, a better head coach than what Justin Herbert has. And, if it came down to home field advantage, there is none in LA. If it comes down to coaching, give me the Chargers. Like Geno Smith give me the Seattle, but, Geno Smith versus Justin Herbert any other day, I would say Justin Herbert, but Geno Smith has failed to let me down yet.
I'm just
win or lose, he can put up 50 points in a game.
And you know what? And last year he played admirably as well. I think he's in the right place to play well, but he's never performed the way that he's performing this year. I think there's just going to be a letdown at some point. I don't know where it's going to happen. I'm not sure it's going to be in this game. But I just feel like a little bit of a letdown is coming since he's never played this well in his career. His QBR is amazingly higher than it's ever been in his career. So has he been in the wrong situation or all the other?
He spent an entire offseason with Papa Carroll.
I know.
Without having to focus on Russell Wilson. This focus was on him. Bringing Drew Lock on was just a competition, which just made him better.
I'm just been waiting for the wheels to fall off, and I know a lot of other people feel the same way. I'm happy for the guy. I'm glad he's playing well.
like a quick little side comment to Rob's comment right here. Okay, the new Madden does have great defense. Like, I'm just talking about previous Maddens. I've been getting my butt smoked on there because I'm not used to having to face legit defense and I just like to sling it. I turn the ball over a lot. So I'm learning how to play football for real now on this Madden a little bit better. But on to the next game. My boys are facing the Niners in San Francisco. First time rematching since the Super Bowl. This is only a 1-point spread. This is the lowest point spread of all the games this week. And Christian McCaffrey is going to be active for this game.
Very complicated game
I'm not going to pick against the Chiefs, so I'm just throwing that out there right now, but I'm going to sit and talk to you about it.
No, I don't expect you to pick against your team. I tried to find a way to, in my mind, think about this game a little bit. I think it's going to be a dandy game, and if I had 2 coin flips in a week, I would probably use it here. I'm going to go ahead and I still think the Chiefs are the better squad. Jimmy, I see Jimmy G getting right in this game. I feel like he's embarrassed after last week. His 2 interceptions in that game directly led to 14 points. And basically the difference in that game. I feel like they're going to play much better football this week at home. But, man, I just feel like that Kansas City's showing that they're, after that game against Buffalo, they're going to come out on fire. I don't think they're going to be able to match them point for point. I'll go ahead and give me the Chiefs, and let's just move on.
Listen, so if Kansas City had beaten Buffalo last week, I would be very on the fence about this game. But with that being said, listen, you can go to history, you can go to stats, you can go to your opinions, whatever it is. Statistically, the Chiefs average 2 scores more a game than the Niners. I think the Niners are going to continuously get better. I think the Niners can win this game. It is in their house. It is a Super Bowl rematch. Like, the Chiefs are pissed off about the Bills, but the Niners are still mad about the Super Bowl. So this is a very 2 heated teams, also both coming off bad losses. I'm not going to say bad loss for the Chiefs, but it was a smack in the mouth at home, and then a smack in the mouth for the Niners with the whole Falcons game. So this is This is an actual, like, a good game. Like, this is almost as good as the Buffalo, but it's not Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. I'm not gonna say Niners are the Bills, but the Niners are a good football team, and they're only 3-3. But you have to remember, one of those losses, Trey Lance against Chicago, and that one loss was against Denver, which was just a dumb game, and so. I'm not going to take the Niners record into consideration because 2 of those games, were just stupid. And so they easily could be sitting at 4-2 right where the Chiefs are. And so like I said, I'm picking the Chiefs. I think they're the better team. I think they have more weapons. Christian McCaffrey is not going to be acquainted well enough in this offense to be as lethal as they want him to. I also think that trade was kind of dumb. But the run game is what hurts Cincinnati the most, and that's what the Niners excel at. So this game will be closer than it needs to be, but I still think the Chiefs get it done and prove why they need to be on the top of the AFC.
You realize you just said the run game hurts Cincinnati the most.
Oh, listen, that's the one team that lives rent-free in my head, so I'll say that right now. But the run game hurts Kansas City the most. But Kansas City is working on getting their run game right as well. So I'm going to take the Chiefs by at least 3. I feel like it's going to be more, but I'm not going to sound super biased. But so I'm going to take by at least 3. So obviously to cover the spread. Next up, we got our Sunday night game. It is, I don't even know, man. This makes me laugh. But this Pittsburgh goes into Miami to take on, which I believe is a Tua-led offense in the Dolphins.
Wow. Here's the thing. And I know that I'm going to pick Miami in this game on the road, or for Pittsburgh being on the road, I'm going to pick Miami. But bring Tua back against Pittsburgh, who I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me check some stats, probably have the most sacks in the NFL right now. I wouldn't say that for certain, but I know they're getting to the quarterback a lot. Uh, Man, it's written to be a bad story for Tua. I have that bad feeling in my gut. I think Miami's the better offensive team. I think Kenny Pickett is going to continue to play, yada yada yada. But give me the Fins at home. Maybe, and if Tua takes one hit, they're gonna sideline him.
I don't like this, okay? I don't like this game at all. But there's one thing that I've always learned is no matter how good, bad, or ugly a football game is, unless they're playing against my team, I cannot pick against the Steelers on prime time. They're almost completely undefeated on Monday Night Football. So if it was on Monday, this would be a lock for me. But I'm going to take the Steelers to upset the Dolphins and rain on their parade with Tua coming back. They are without TJ Watt, but listen, what if they can shut down Tom Brady, then they can shut down Tua. Like I don't care what anybody says.
I mean, that's a fair point. I'm good. The main reason I'm taking the Dolphins because they're at home, and Pittsburgh is 19th in sacks, so they've only got 12. I thought they had more than that, but good Lord, I can see it happening. But I've got to take the Fins. I got to take the Fins. I got to stick.
What's the point spread on this? 7.5. Listen, they overshot that by a mile. They thought Tua was just going to be resurrected and back to 100%. There is no way. There is not a single chance that kid is 100%. And one hit could be enough for him to be done for a long time again. And so they're going to have to be completely conservative. And I don't think, without TJ Watt, they're still able to get to the quarterback. Their secondary is still good. And Mike Tomlin is a veteran head coach versus a rookie head coach. Look, Miami beat Buffalo, but they're in the same division, so that gets a little pass. That's a good win. That's a great win, but they get a little bit of a pass. Once you get outside the division, it's fair game to anybody, and Miami should win this game by that 7.5 because of their offensive weapons, but Kenny Pickett's getting better. He's having bad days, getting bullied by Von Miller and getting bullied by everyone, but he's still doing well. And if they throw Mitch Trubisky in there, because I don't know the actual situation with Kenny, I think he injured his thumb. I don't think it matters. They beat Tom Brady with Mitch Trubisky, so I don't know, man.
They both played in that game, but yeah, it doesn't show him on the injury as being out yet. So
they said if he can play, he will play. That was an actual quote from Tomlin. If he can play, he will. I'm going to take the Steelers for an upset just because all of our primetime games have mostly been stupid. So I'm not going to get away from – I don't love it because I hate Pittsburgh, but, oh, God, that makes me sick saying. But now back to talking about for real stupid. We've got Monday Night Football. And
before you announce it, by what you've seen the last couple of weeks – do you put New England as a contender for the division?
Yeah. They're right where I put them at the beginning of the year. But I got a couple of things to bring up in this. So, Monday Night Football, we've got the best matchup of the season. It is Chicago going to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. Now, I just want to say one thing about this, one thing at all. Is look what Bill Belichick did to the Lions. If you think that Chicago is going to play any better than Detroit against the Patriots, you are sadly mistaken. Listen, he bullied the crap out of Dan Campbell. He bullied the crap out of the number one scoring offense, held them to 0. Chicago does not have a chance. Not one single chance. I don't even have 1% faith that they'll even put up 7 points.
Yeah. Watching the game the other night where they had repeated attempts in the red zone and they just couldn't get the ball across the line for another touchdown. The only touchdown came on that beautiful long pass. I'm taking New England in this game. I won't even look at the spread. Don't even care.
Back to talking about for real stupid Monday Night Football. That's how I feel. Look, this matchup hurts my head, but if you go back and watch the Lions versus Patriots game 2 weeks ago, it's gonna look like this, but worse. But the only interesting fact is Chicago's defense is not god awful, and I believe it's going to be Mac Jones and not Bailey Zappi, which I think is completely blasphemy. This isn't a Dak Prescott Cooper Rush situation. This is a 2 young quarterbacks basically on rookie deals, It's not like it's not the same kind of competition kind of situation. They're paying Dak $30 million a year. They're not paying Mac $30 million a year. I say leave Zappi in until he proves he can't do it. He's played out of his mind.
So let me go back to what I've said. I mean, I think probably the last 3 or 4 weeks when we're talking about when we talk about New England, Bill Belichick will pick one item from your team and try to take it out of the game.
They don't have any items to pick from because it's all bad.
See, I have a feeling that they're going to pick Justin Fields. Khalil Herbert's going to get some yards. He's a good running back. I believe that they're going to get yards on the ground, but they're not going to come from Justin Fields. I think Matthew Judon probably kills the guy in this game. I really feel like the quarterback is the biggest downside in this game, and I feel like that's where Bill is going to attack. He attacked Nick Chubb last week. I think it was last week or the week before, whichever, when they were into Cleveland, and Chubb only had like 58 yards. And they looked bad. I think Bill is the best coach in the league, and I have faith in whatever his game plan is. And I feel sorry.
David Montgomery is their best player. You skipped over him and said Khalil Herbert, but
I know, but their running game has been fantastic. But I think that they're going to go after. I think they're going to go after the quarterback.
That's fair. I mean, he just flies out of the pocket trying to figure something out. If he doesn't have anything, he either makes a mistake or keeps it.
Yeah, thank you
so much, Holly. I definitely appreciate that, and so does Papa Blood over here. We are thankful.
But yeah, I mean, I can't in good conscience favor the Patriots. I really like when the Patriots lose. I get a little warm feeling inside. But
me too. But
it's when they're doing it with not a real quarterback staff. They don't have fantastic wide receivers.
I will support Bailey Zappi at least all of this season. After this season, it starts feeling like Tom Brady, and I don't like it anymore. But right now, he's some kid from Kentucky. I'll support some random kid from Kentucky. In my own state, representing, going out there looking way better than Mac Jones has this season and getting it done. I think that's one thing that unites all NFL fans other than Patriots fans. Exactly. 100%. We all like seeing the Patriots lose because we got bullied for 20 years and not one team was safe from that bullying.
No. But you know what? But it is interesting to watch them play now when they have a less talented group. They have coordinator issues. They have issues that they don't normally have, but yet they're still going into Green Bay playing well.
He got the start in probably the second quarter. He had, 1 quarter and a half time. He turned around after the half and looked elite. And then he's picked up this offense way quicker than Mac has. He's able to get the ball done in the air, which Mac, that's where he's struggling. They can obviously run the ball down your throat. We've seen it a million times with Bill Belichick without Brady. They'll run the ball. They're good at it. But he's getting it done in the air where Mac was struggling. And they're going to throw Mac to the Wolves and bring him back. But I could see him potentially getting benched later on if he struggles some more.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Mac Jones is Mac hasn't done very well at all this year, and you know what? I think the leash is very short on that guy. If he starts playing,
I
and
think
then
other than the fact that Bill likes him, like he actually likes him, uh, I think that's the only thing keeping him around. He starts playing bad, and Bill's gonna get sick of it and kick him out the door.
yeah, I just think New England's defense just take defense versus offense. Their defense versus Chicago's offense. Chicago will be lucky to score 7 points in this game. If they get a touchdown in this game, I'll be surprised.
That's what I said. If they get a touchdown, I'll be surprised. I think the final score will be 34-3. No, 28-3. I'll be reasonable.
I think Chicago's D is respectable too. I was going to go somewhere right around 21-6, somewhere in that ballpark. That's where I thought it was going to end up. But yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
still
say
a butt with it.
28-3.
Let's go, man. That's something for Monday night.
Yeah, we're all be taking naps together on the stream on Monday. I'm just kidding. I was unrealistic, Holly, but I can see it happening. I mean, they only put up 24 on Detroit, so I can't see them putting up much more than 24 on Chicago, because I think Chicago's defense is a little bit better than Detroit's defense right now. We'll see after the bye. Let's see what they hold Dak to, and Tony Pollard and Zeke. But I'm excited to see the Lions play football again. Who are our bye teams this week? None
Buffalo,
in the West.
the Rams.
I know we got Buffalo, Philly.
The Rams.
All right, there's got to be one more. Buffalo, Eagles, Rams, Vikings.
Arizona?
Okay, there
No.
we go. Vikings. I knew that because I have Jefferson in fantasy, so I had to sit him. 34-3 to Bears. Yeah, no. Sorry, Mickey, no. It's Buffalo, yeah. That's an interesting 4 teams on a bye, too.
Really hurt my fantasy chances again.
Wait,
my
there's
fantasy
5?
chances are horrible.
Oh, no, it's Buffalo, Crafty. Yeah, the Bills. I hope the Chiefs get a win this week because you're right. They go into their bye, and their second half schedule is a lot easier than their first half schedule. I will be feeling good at 5-2. Yeah, 5-2 going into the bye makes me feel really good.
Okay, baby, I got to roll.
Like I said at the beginning of the stream, unfortunately, we are on a time cramp today, and he has approximately 2 minutes left. So we're going to go ahead and, 3 division leaders with the best records on bye. We're going to go ahead and close this up. Are you going to be here tomorrow?
It's going to be close, but I think so. I'm going to set
for
it
the
up.
4 o'clock game, which you'll get the Chiefs and Niners game because 90% of the country is getting that 4 o'clock game.
Yeah, the only thing is that after work tomorrow, I'm bringing home my new 200-gallon fish tank, and so I've got to get here, and then I'll take the truck back at in the evening if I run late. I should be covering it. Should be good.
So he's gonna have the Chiefs and Niners game tomorrow. I'll be in the chat. I'll be at work probably through the first quarter, maybe some into the second quarter. So I'll be in the chat as much as I can, and I will be here for this Steelers versus Dolphins, the biggest laugh of a match. And obviously I'll be here Monday as well for the Bears versus Patriots, which I'm not looking forward to that one. Maybe something optimistic will happen that'll get me there, but yes, we'll be here tomorrow for that. That'll be the next time you see either of us, and I cannot wait for that.
So
I'm debuting my new Chiefs jersey tomorrow.
So just for the two of you at the bottom that asked about the fish tank, we're undecided, but right now it's I'm either going to go with some kind of a shark tank, or
Let's go.
I was thinking about a cold water octopus tank. If you guys have any suggestions or have any thoughts about that, let me know on tomorrow during the game, because I'm not really sure what I want to do with it. It's so big and huge. I'm just squared away with it. I haven't figured it all out yet, but it's going to be something saltwater and it's going to be something exotic.
All right. She asked me what jersey. I wasn't going to tell nobody until I had it on tomorrow, but I'm debuting the number
Oh,
20 safety / backup kicker, Justin Reed. He is the strongest piece in our secondary right now, and he's playing out of his mind. He'll take a guy to the chin for this team, and I love it. But thank you guys so much. Also, Holly, thanks for the super sticker. He's got to go. He doesn't have any time, but thank you guys so much. Everybody in here that is not a Chiefs and Bengals fan, good luck to your teams tomorrow. If we pick them to lose, I am sorry. I don't like most of the picks this week because this is a good week of football. Justin Reed, yes, my boy. I'm gonna get a Nick Bolton one, but they didn't have it available for me, so I was like, I'll take Justin Reed, and I'm pretty happy about it. Also, since he's gone, I have all the time. Holly, we are definitely coming to Kansas City for the draft. In about 2 weeks, I will be able to put in my vacation times for it, but I saved up some time. He is still on the fence, but I'm going to convince him. We're definitely coming down for the draft next year, so I cannot wait for that. I've been meaning to tell you, but everybody that is in here still, thank you guys so much. We had a lot of fun, even though, we had to start late and we didn't have a whole lot of time tonight. But you guys are super awesome, and I appreciate all of your time. I'm just going to go ahead and take him down. I do not think he is coming back. But hopefully, good luck to all of your teams tomorrow. Good luck to your fantasy teams this week. And if you're sports bet responsibly and do better than I do because I'm really bad at it. You guys are super awesome. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe. Much love. See ya.